guys, I thought I'll record just a short video just working through shoulders and upper body, a bit of mobility, a bit of strength in combination, just for those of you that would rather work through the upper body or would want to pay a little bit more attention to the upper body. Same as usual, making sure that nothing is creating painful feel into the shoulder, any tingling down the arms as there's no nerve pain. Take a rest whenever you need the rest. Join in again when you're ready to do so. And then remember, if you enjoy the video, there is always the live classes that you can look at in the description box. You will find the link to get to them. So starting off, setting yourself up on all fours. The hands are directly below the shoulders, the knees are directly below the hips. Connecting the shoulder blades to the back of the rib cage. I'm just going to set the back into a nice and neutral position. So I'm not sagging in the middle, I'm not arching, I'm lengthening my way through, softening my way through. Maintaining that connection through the shoulders. I'm going to keep the connection through. And then starting with a little movement, I'm just going to start bending the elbow one hand and then picking up the hand. I don't want the shoulder to drop, I want the shoulder to stay level, which means that my supporting arm is the one that is doing the hard work, preventing me from sinking and falling on this side or hitching up and rotating and going the other way. Then I'm going to return the hand back and then I'm going to try exactly the same thing to the other side. So just a little connection through the shoulder girdle, noticing as you're switching from one side to the other, the tension changing across to the front of the belly, into the midsection, into the torso. And then as you're keeping that tension going from one arm to the other, see if you can be aware of your center line. As I'm shifting the weight, as I'm transferring the weight from both hands into one only, my center line is not changing. So I'm not drifting to the right, I'm not shifting to the left, I'm staying in the middle. So see if I can hold that stable position. Once that if you feel that you've got that connection set, then I'm going to start creating a little bit more load. So on the next one, I'm going to lift the hand and then I'm going to start reaching the arm forward. See if you can notice the difference between reaching the arm forward and reaching all of the shoulder girdle. So I don't want my shoulder to suddenly shrug up to my head, to my ear. I want my shoulder to stay back, to stay down, just the arm to lift. Then I'm going to return the arm back and then I'm going to try the same thing with the other side. It's the same control, maintaining the shoulders at the same level. The neck is still long and loose. The tension still coming across the front of the belly to help me stabilize that movement. So noticing if one shoulder feels maybe a little bit more restricted than the other. On one side I might find that I'm shrugging slightly. See if you can keep the movement a little bit smaller. So see if you can avoid that shrugging, see if you can avoid all that compensation. So the shoulder girdle feels wide, the front of the chest feels open, the neck feels long, and then the center feels connected. 4, 3, 2. And then on the next one, I'm going to raise the arm up to the front, holding the arm there without letting the shoulder go up, without letting the body rotate. I'm going to take the arm out to the side and then bending the elbow. Imagine to be bringing the elbow into the side of the waist. Then I'm going to reach the arm back out and then to the front, and then I'm going to try again. I'm going to pull it in, pull it down, and then I'm going to ease it back. So see if I can encourage a gentle activation down through that lat. So the big muscles that run from the back of your arm through the back of your shoulder blade down towards the middle of the back. See if I can feel those muscles tightening to bring the arm around. As if your arm was resting on a shelf next to you. See if you can keep the arm on the shelf, making sure that the arm is not dropping off the shelf or lifting off the shelf and twisting. The shoulder is still back and down. The arm is moving. Is that motion that I'm after, not that motion not that motion. So see if I can still be aware of holding that center line. I'm going to try 2 more times. Finding a breath that works for you. Last one. And then I'm going to release that arm back down. Pressing down through that arm, picking up the other. Finding that nice long lifted position. And then bending the elbow, I'm going to try and bring the elbow into the side of the waist. Then I'm going to reach it out again and then pull it in again. And then same as on the other side, so imagine a big shelf next to you. I'm going to try and keep my arm on the shelf. It's just moving forward and back, making sure it's not dropping off the shelf, it's not lifting off the shelf. So the shoulder is not internally rotating or externally rotating. I'm trying to keep it in neutral. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back, pushing back, and loading the wrist, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the arms. It's a little bit more movement through the shoulder joint, and there's a little bit more activation around the shoulder joint, the shoulder girdle too. I'm going to start changing the direction of the effort to slightly. What I want is a little bit more opening now across the front of the chest. So taking the legs off to the side, I'm going to lie down on the side. Letting the bottom leg extend away, the top leg, I'm just going to bend it, dropping the knee to the ground. The knee on the floor is just helping me to keep the hips nice and still, so I don't want the hips to move. If you find that there's too much, my hip is very tight or there is a hip replacement on this side, then I'm just going to put the other leg underneath it, so the top leg won't be dropping too far down onto the mat. So choosing the option that suits you better, pulling the bottom arm as far forward as you can, so I'm resting on the back of the shoulder. I'm going to pop the head down on the floor, and then if I find that it feels a bit uncomfortable, it's really pulling on the neck, then I need something underneath the head, so I'm going to grab hold of my block, and then popping the block under the head. I'm just going to keep the head slightly supported on top of a block, a towel, anything you want to use. So you're happy that the arm is set, and then focusing on the top side. First thing, I want to try and create a nice opening across the front. So I'm going to reach the hand to the head, and then taking a deep breath in. As I breathe out, I'm going to start turning the rib cage towards the ceiling, opening up as far as I can. Then I'm going to ease my way back, and then I'm going to try again. So see if you can encourage a nice rotation. So I want my rib cage to try and turn to face up and towards the ceiling. The arm is pulling back, my knee is still staying on the ground, so it's not lifting away, and then I'm just going to ease my way back. And then I'm going to open up again. So ease some of the tension, especially from the back, to see if I can get a nice smooth rotation going. Making sure that the hand is staying on the head, as the tendency is to start compensating with the arm and then start going into that awkward twisted position. See if I can maintain the neck nice and loose as I'm moving forward and back. Once that I feel that the movement is a little bit easier, it feels a little bit looser, then I'm going to start working in the joint a little bit more. So I'm going to extend the arm to the front, I'm going to reach to the front hand, and then imagine to be holding a piece of chalk or pencil in your hand. I'm going to draw a circle or a semicircle on the floor around me. What I want is for the point of my pencil or for a bit of my chalk to touch the floor. If it starts lifting away, I'm not drawing the circle anymore. So I'm going to keep my fingertips to the ground, and then I'm going to start drawing the circle up and over. I'm going to keep the fingers to the ground. It doesn't matter if it's the front or the back of the fingers, as far as they're staying on the ground. And then I'm going to keep that circle going as far as I feel that I can go, but with my hand still on the floor. Then I'm going to come back in reverse. I'm going to draw the circle the other way, and then I'm going to try exactly the same thing again. So it doesn't matter if the circle feels small or is big, just to see if you can make sure that you're not forcing the shoulder. If the body doesn't rotate enough, the movement will feel really twisted, really forced, really awkward. If the rib cage rotates far enough, then I might be able to get a big movement. If the front of the chest is tight, again the arm will be pulled, the forward will be pulled down, so I won't be able to keep the fingers on the ground for very long. It doesn't really matter, it's not how big my circle is, it's how I'm circling around. So making sure that the front knee stays on the ground, the fingertips are staying on the ground as I'm reaching my way around. So no forcing, just to see if I can loosen up gradually all the way around the shoulder into the arm. I'm going to try 3 more circles. So little movement, big movement, nothing is causing pain. Last one. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulder, releasing the arm, and then staying on the side. I'm going to start loading the arm so that the shoulder now feels a little bit looser. I'm going to put some weight into it. I'm going to extend the top arm out of the way. I'm going to pop it underneath the shoulder, underneath the head, supporting the head. If I find that this still doesn't work, then I'm just going to keep it around the front. This arm is not doing anything. I want this arm to be as floppy, as relaxed as possible. It's the top arm that is doing the work. I'm going to take a deep breath in, and then as I breathe out, I'm going to push down through that arm, and then I'm going to try and lift up. Then I'm going to ease back, and then pushing down through the arm, I'm going to try and lift up. Just a little lift to see if you can get the shoulder to lift away from the ground. Now the tendency is to start pushing with the bottom arm, to start doing that kind of thing. What I want is for the effort to be on this arm here. So if I find that this arm, I can't help it, it's here, I just want to use it, then I'm going to get rid of it. I'm just going to cross it onto the chest to get it out of the way, and then see if I can do the top arm, use the top arm to do the work. So working through the shoulder, working through the side of the waist, the body has to stay connected. If the body flops in the middle, then I'll be able to just maybe lift my head, but nothing else. If the center connects through my ribcage and my hips stay together, as the arm pushes, it's the all of the body that will be lifting away. The same as I did for the rotation, making sure that I'm not causing pain into the shoulder, into the arm, and then see if I can try and maintain that tension through that top arm. So keep watching that bottom arm, because even into this cross position, it will still try to help. You will get the little jerky bit to help you come up. So see if I can really be aware of this arm staying quiet. All the tension is on the top one. I'm going to try 3 more lifts. So pushing into the mat, trying to pull away, and then easing my way back. 2, and back, and then last one, and releasing down, relaxing the shoulder, releasing the arm. I'm going to try exactly the same thing to the other side. So swinging the legs to the front, pushing yourself up into sitting. I'm going to take the legs down the other way of the mat, and then I'm just going to set myself into my side line. So the bottom leg extends away, the top leg I'm going to bring it forward, bottom arm pulling it right forward so that I'm resting on the back of the shoulder there. And then same as before, I'm going to start with the hand to the head to see if I can get a nice rotation through the back. So I'm going to take a deep breath in. As I breathe out, turning the ribcage to face up and towards the ceiling, see if I can get the rotation, see if I can get a nice opening. Then I'm going to ease my way back, and then trying again, rotating out to see if I can get a nice stretch across. And then I'm going to release my way back. So opening and closing the door. As I feel that the rotation is a little bit easier, so I feel the movement, it doesn't feel as stiff, it doesn't feel as heavy, as tight as it was when I first started. Then I'm going to start adding my little circle with the arm, noticing how big or small the circle is going to be on this side. So I'm going to put my fingers on the ground, and then I'm going to start drawing it around
Changing the position of the hand as far as the fingers, at least one of them stays on the floor. That's all I want. Easing my way back, and then I'm going to try again. So same as on the other side, making sure that I'm not forcing the movement, encouraging that rotation so that the arm has got a little bit more space to move, encouraging that gentle stretch across the front of the chest as the arms reaches around and then come back. And then the movement on this side, it could be very small, it could be very big, it's whatever it is. Just making sure that the front knee is still staying down on the ground, is not suddenly lifting away. 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, releasing the shoulders, releasing the arm. So there's a little bit more movement through that shoulder. I'm going to start loading it. So same as before, I'm going to start with the arm under the head to begin with. And then this time I'm bending the knees, so the legs are one on top of the other. I'm going to push down through the top arm and then see if I can create that lift through and then come back. And then same as on the other side, I feel that as soon as I start pushing through is the bottom arm that is doing the lifting instead of being the top arm. So I'm just going to move that arm out of the way, trying to cross it onto the chest and then see if I can get the lift coming from the other side and then coming back. Same awareness as before, making sure that it's not these up, that it's kind of like giving me the momentum to jerk myself up, but see if I can try and keep it quiet, see if I can try and keep it off. All the load is on that top shoulder, on the top arm. And then on this side I might find that I can just about lift or take the weight off the shoulder. Again, it doesn't matter, it gives you an idea. So this arm might be stronger, some might be able to lift a lot easier or a lot weaker. And just to see if you can think of that tension coming from across the front of the chest to the back of the shoulder into the lats again, helping you to lock the shoulder blade against the back of the rib cage and then create a nice lift and then easing your way back down again. 4, controlling down, making sure that you're not letting yourself drop too quickly. 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, releasing the shoulder, releasing the arms. There's a little bit more connection around the shoulder girdle. I'm going to try and find a little bit more connection through the middle of the back. I'm going to let the elbows open up fairly wide, not exaggerated and not too close to the side of the body. So think of not quite a 90-degree angle from the body, maybe a 70, 80, about there, but not too close to the rib cage. I'm going to take a deep breath in, and then as I breathe out, I'm going to push with the elbows down into the ground. What I want is for the back of the rib cage to lift away, and then I'm going to ease back. So what I want is for the muscles this time and between the shoulder blades into the middle of the back to actively push and then release back. So think of your shoulder blades as squeezing together as I'm trying to lift my way up, making sure that forearms and hands are off the ground, otherwise the tendency is to start pushing with the hands, which activates the front of the chest again. This time I wanted the tension to be at the back of the shoulder into the middle of the back. So I'm going to push up and then I'm going to ease my way back down. Push up and then ease my way back down. So see if I can imagine a band going across from one shoulder to the other and then coming from the back of the rib cage down to the bottom of the spine, to the back of the pelvis. Same as before, every once in a while check the elbows, as the tendency will be to try and again do that which is a flexion instead of being an extension. I wanted the back to extend. So my back is arching that way, not that way. 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, releasing the shoulders, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, just a little bit more activation into the middle of the back. I'm going to, same as before, see if I can load it. I'm just going to roll over onto my front, and then I'm going to set the arms out nice and wide. I think of a nice W shape. So I'm going to bend the elbow slightly, bring the arms in. I'm going to pop the head down, and then relaxing through the legs. Here I've got two options. I can keep my head down and then just work it through the shoulders, or if I feel that I've got the strength, I'm going to lift the head and the top of the chest up, and then I'm going to work it from an extended position. If I find that my lower back is loading, so I can feel it in the lower back is too painful, then I'm just going to drop the head down, and then I'm going to work it from neutral. So taking a deep breath in to prepare, I'm going to breathe out, and then I'm going to lift the arms up. See if you can think of your hands and your elbows keeping to the same height. There's the tendency to do that, which is going to roll your shoulder forward. I want the shoulder to come up with the elbows. Then I'm going to maintain that lift. I'm going to start reaching the arms out to the side and forward. See if you can turn your arms into a massive capital V. Hold that V nice and sharp. See if you can lift the arms up higher. Don't shrug the shoulders up to your head. Then I'm going to keep that lift. I'm going to try and bring them straight forward, straight ahead. Think of a big capital I. Can I still keep them nice and high and away from the ground? Then I'm going to go back into the sharper V, and then I'm going to pull back into the W, and then I'm going to have a little rest down, and then do it again. If your head is on the floor, making sure that stays on the floor, as the tendency is to try and use the back to lift the arms. I want the shoulder to lift the arm. If the back is lifted, making sure that the back stays lifted, it doesn't go any higher. So I'm not bouncing my way to try and get the arms to lift up. The back is staying nice and still. It's just at the shoulders. So I'm going to go into the sharp W. I'm going to open up into that strong V. I'm going to come forward into the I, back into the V, back into the W, and then I'm just going to release down. If I feel that the movement is not too bad, so I feel that the shoulders are working, they're not fatiguing too quickly, I'm not struggling with the shoulder position, the neck feels loose, I want to make it more challenging. Don't rest. So keep going. From your W, into your V, into your I, back into your W, back into the V, back into the W. Then I'm going to go into that V, I, V, W again. So maintaining that lift if I can. Making sure that the body's not rocking forward and back, just the arms are moving. See if you can think of that stronger connection at the back of the shoulders are down, the head is free to move from one side to the other. I'm going to go around one more time. So W, V, I, V, W, and releasing back. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. So there's a little bit more connection. I can feel the middle of the back is a little bit more switched on. I can feel those muscles going. I'm going to see if I can start getting front and back to work together, to work in sync. So I'm going to push myself back up on all fours, and then I'm going to set up into a press up position. Now, to give you a little bit of a guideline, what I want is to use anything. It could be a block, it could be a pen, anything that makes sense to you, that works for you. So the pen, probably, okay, if I put it here, you could probably see that. Okay, so I'm going to put my hands just on the tip of my fingers in line with the pen. Okay, so the pen is there, or close to the edge of my mat, so my fingertips will be on the edge of my mat. The back is in neutral, and I'm in a box position to begin with, so I'm quite short, I'm quite compact.
I'm going to take a deep breath in. As I breathe out, I'm going to come forward into the arms. What I want is with the tip of the nose to touch anywhere past the pen, past the edge of the mat. So I'm going to come forward and then I'm going to drop down. I'm going to push away and then come back, and then I'm going to do it again. So it doesn't matter, the further forward you go, the harder it is, obviously, because there's more load through the arms. But what I want is to just to get a little reference point is the tendency is for the people to drop it between the hands. If I drop it between my hands, I'm sitting back on my heels, so I can actually take my hands off the ground. So there is no weight going into my arms. I want the weight to go into the arms. So see if I can keep the load into the arms, and then see if I can try and dive my way forward and then push my way back. As you're pushing your way back, the same as you did when you were pressing back through the shoulders, so see if you can maintain the body rigid. So making sure that the upper body is not disconnecting from the hips. I'm not arching my way up, I'm lifting, I'm pushing my way up. So I'm going to connect strong through the center, I'm going to lower myself down, and then I'm just going to push my way back. Lower down, and then push away and come back. If you want to make it harder, instead of letting the elbows fly wide when you lower, see if you can tuck them in. So as I come forward, as I drop down, the elbows are rubbing by the side of the rib cage. So they're staying tucked into my side, and then I'm just going to push my way back. If you feel that that's still quite easy, still quite comfortable, then I'm going to make myself longer, so I'm going to extend myself out a little bit more, but I'm still aiming to go past that pencil, past the edge of the mat, past the fingertips, and then push back. As you're making yourself longer, you're becoming heavier. Again, the tendency is to drop the thighs, so to start doing that floppy thing, making sure that the belly's still tight, the hips are up, is the chest, is the head that is going down, and then I'm going to push back. And then if that still feels easy, then I'm going to tuck my toes under, I'm going to come up into a full press up position, and then I'm going to drop down from there. But same as before, making sure that the hips are higher than the chest. So it's the chest that is dropping down, and then I'm going to push everything back up together. So the body is rigid as it's moving up and down. If I find that I'm disconnected, then I'm lacking in strength into the middle. So the belly is not holding me well. I'm arching my way up, so it's a bit of a lacking strength into the shoulder and a little bit of a lacking strength into the core. So I'm just going to drop down a level and then see if I can try and work myself at the level below, but see if I can do a good movement. It says this kind of thing doesn't help anybody, as I'm not doing anything with the arms. So think of a nice deep movement. Better to do a level below and then going for a nice full range through the arms than struggling with the level above with absolutely no range going. We're going to try one more time. So I'm going to bend the elbows, then keep the nose going past my fingertips, past my hands, and then I'm going to push my way away, come back. Stretching back into shell, stretching back down onto the knees, towards the feet, allowing the wrists to relax, allowing the shoulders, allow the arms to have a little rest. And then from there I'm going to try and see if I can ease some of the tension from the shoulders again. So finding a comfortable sitting position, you can kneel, sitting on a block, or sitting on a pillow, sitting on the floor, just making sure that you're able to sit reasonably upright. If you know that the shoulders are stiff, I suggest you get yourself a band, a belt, a strap, a towel, anything. Then you can just swing over the shoulder. So it's there if I need it, I'm going to use it. I'm going to raise my right arm up and towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to let the arm drop behind the back, behind the head. With that left hand, I'm going to reach for the elbow, and then I'm going to encourage the arm to point straight up at the ceiling, as the tendency if the shoulder is tight is for the arm to drop. So I'm going to try and see if I can guide it up. Once the arm is there, then with the left hand I'm going to let go, and then reaching behind the back, I'm going to swing the hand up the other way. Now if my fingers are touching, it doesn't matter if it's just like one touching, I'm going to try and hook them together and then progressively see if I can try and bring the hands closer. If the fingers are too far apart, so it's like there's no way that I can get my hands close, then I've got the strap. I'm going to hold one end with one hand,
the other end with the other, and then I'm just going to gradually climb my way up with the left hand, down with the right hand, and vice versa if you've got the arms the other way. We're just using the band as a little tool to try and climb your way up gradually when you feel that the shoulder is ready to go a little bit deeper. Same as you've been doing so far, making sure that the movement or the stretch is not causing you pain. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back, releasing the arms, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, popping the strap over the shoulder again, same shoulder or the other shoulder, it doesn't matter, whatever works best. I'm going to raise that left arm up and towards the ceiling, letting the hand drop behind, adjusting the arm if I need to, using my right hand, and then with the right hand I'm going to reach behind the back, the same as before. I'm going to hook the hands if I've got the flexibility to go that far. I'm just going to hold on to the band if I find that I can't do that, my shoulder feels really stiff, or if I try to go any deeper I can feel it's too painful for the shoulder, too painful for the arm. I'm just going to give myself a little bit more space, a little bit more time here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back, releasing the shoulders, releasing the arms. It's a little bit more movement about right and left side. I'm going to try and open up a little bit deeper across the front of the chest. So I'm going to come down into sitting, bringing the legs to the front. It doesn't matter if you're sitting on the floor, as we're going to be leaning backwards a little bit. I'm going to take the hands behind, and then I'm going to set the hands, fingertips are pointing to the back of the room preferably. If I feel that I can't do that, I'm just going to bring them slightly in. But if I can, I'm going to try as much as possible to create that external rotation into the shoulder to open up the front of the shoulder, front of the chest. Once the hands are set, I'm going to start with the hands reasonably close to the hips, so maybe a foot away, a little bit more than a foot away. I want to be able to get my shoulders from this hunched and rounded shoulder position to a nice roll back lifted position. So I need to be able to squeeze them behind me. So if I find that my hands are too close together, I don't seem to be able to do anything, then I'm going to give myself a little bit more space and then see if I can get a nice roll back with that lift. Once you're happy that you've got that lift, then if you want to make the opening stronger, then I'm going to maintain that lift, but I'm going to start shuffling the hips down and towards the feet. As I go further with the hips, the tension through the shoulder is going to increase. So if the shoulder is tight, it will tend to roll forward again, so it looks as if I'm going a long way, but I can't really feel any stretch across the front of the chest as my shoulder is now going forward. So making sure that I'm able to hold the shoulders behind as I'm sliding the hips forward, as I'm sliding the hips away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back. Releasing the shoulders, releasing the arms, it's a little bit more opening. I'm going to try one more, just to try to open up this arm a little bit more into the back of the shoulder. So finding a slightly raised seated position, sitting again on the block, kneeling, step, jump, towel, again chair if you want to, just making sure that you're able to straighten up the back. As this time I'm going to try and open up the back more, so I'm going to open the arms out to the side and then swing them in. What I want is to have my right arm underneath my left. So with my right arm, I'm going to hook underneath the left, and as if I was trying to carry. And I'm going to try and get the back of my forearms to touch. If I can get them to touch, I'm going to try and maybe go a little bit further around to see if I can bring the palm of the hands to face each other, and then clasping the hands together or pressing the palms together, I'm going to hold them there. If the arms tend to lean to the left
then the back will tend to go that way too. So see if I can make sure that the arms are nice and upright and the back is nice and upright. I should be able to feel quite a long stretch coming around to the back of the shoulder, the back of that left shoulder, that left arm. And then maintaining the back nice and upright. To see if you can think of sinking the elbows down. 5. Dropping the shoulders at the same time. 4. 3. 2. 1. And easing back, releasing the shoulders, releasing the arms, and then I'm going to open up exactly the same thing but going the other way. So I'm going to open the arms out nice and wide. This time I want my right arm to, my left arm to carry my right. So the left is underneath and the right is on top. And then same as before, I'm going to press the back of the arms closer together, see if I can get them to touch. If they can easily touch, I'm going to go a little bit further, see if I can get the palm of the hands to touch. See if I can hook them around. Clasping the hands, same as before, pressing the palms together if possible. See if I can get the nicer, deeper stretch going around the back of that shoulder, the back of that arm. And then same as I did on the other side, making sure that the arms are nice and upright, as if the arms tend to drop, the back will tend to go that way too. So see if I can try and bring myself into that center line. 5, sinking the shoulders, sinking the elbows. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, releasing the shoulders, releasing the arms, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, going back, coming forward, one at a time, going back, loosening up through the shoulders, through the back. Shoulder girdle arms should be feeling a little bit looser, the back should be feeling a little bit freer to move. So I hope you've enjoyed the session, and then yes, any feedback will be great, as this was a request from one of you, so anything welcome. I hope I'll see you all soon.